Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Thanks for joining me and spending some of your day here with me today. I thought I'd sit down and turn the camera on and use a few new products that I have in my collection. This is going to be a high-end edition. I do have plans on doing this same style of video, but a drugstore edition, because I do have a lot of product as I've been purchasing things for the drugstore series that I've been doing on the channel, and you guys have enjoyed those very much. But I also do want to show some love to some products that I have that are high-end in my collection, because I did buy these products myself and I don't want them just to sit there and take space in my drawer, collect dust, and get forgotten about. So in this sort of configuration that I've got here, there's one drawer specifically that is for brand new products. So what I did was I opened that drawer and I pulled some things. I had a few on my desk to sort of make it a point to use them, and we'll get to those products in a moment. But I opened that drawer, I pulled some things to kind of fill in some gaps of what I didn't have already on my desk for this video. So we're just playing with product. I'll tell you my thoughts along the way. If that sounds good, get your makeup goodies out. Let's get ready together and let's go ahead and jump right in. First up is this Dior product. This is the Forever Glow Star Filter. I have had my eye on this, honestly, since this product launched at Sephora. I've had mine for a little while. I have used this a couple of times to sort of gather my thoughts, because this is supposed to be yet again another dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. If I can get the name right on that. That is one of my very favorite products from Charlotte Tilbury line, and it was one of my first products that I purchased because of the hype around it. So when I saw this, I thought, let me try it and see how this compares. I have used this a couple of times and it's really pretty. Gives the skin a nice glow. The shade that I have is number 1. Pretty much almost an entire pump of this product to kind of start off the base of my complexion and to use it somewhat in place of a primer. It does have a skin tone shade, so you do have to pick a color that matches your skin tone. And because I normally am pretty fair, I went with shade number 1. And what I like about this, as I blend it in, I'm going to talk to you about what I like about it. It blends in really nicely with your fingers. You can use a brush. I'm going to show you with my fingers today. This definitely has a glow to it, but it's not a glow that is Tin Man vibes. This is a little bit softer. You could layer this up definitely to get a more noticeable glow, but I like how this is a very versatile type of product that you can use as a primer, as I am today. You can mix it into your foundations. You can use it mixed in with your moisturizer as part of your skincare routine. You can use it as a liquid highlighter on its own with nothing else. Like, that's why I like these products, and I think that's what makes the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury so special. It's not just the formula and not the glow that it gives, but it's what you can do with it. Now, I can't tell you right now that I would substitute this for Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, because that product has a sweet spot in my heart. It's one of my favorites. It's the first product that kind of introduced me to the line, so it's always going to be my number 1. I'm never going to say, you know what, this is no longer good for me. I love that, but this is actually really pretty on the skin. It doesn't cover everything. You will still see imperfections, some blemishes, some scarring if you have it, discoloration. This just kind of helps sort of neutralize a little bit, and it doesn't feel super sticky. So I feel like it's going to be nice for that glow underneath, let's say a more satin finish foundation or something that's a little bit more matte. I have been wanting to try this foundation from Clinique. This is the Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. This is a natural matte finish. It looks like this. This has been out for years and years and years. This is new to me, new for this video. I've had this on my vanity for quite some time. I ordered the shade WN01 Flax, which is the same match in their serum foundation, which is one of my very favorites. It quickly became one of my top favorite picks that I absolutely love. And this is what that foundation from Clinique looks like. The WN Flax is my year-round shade, and this is the one that I ordered when I first tried it out, and I obviously got a wrong shade match. However, this is more my speed right now with this tan from vacation. So I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy this formula, because I love this so much. This wears so well, and it's a beautiful finish on the skin. But this says natural matte, 100% fragrance free, moderate to full coverage. So we'll see. This foundation comes with a really big doe foot where you can swipe it on, but I think I'm going to swipe it onto my makeup palette, just because I don't want to put any of this Dior product into this as I swipe. You will eventually pick up product that's already been placed on the skin, and for hygienic reasons, I don't like doing that. I just kind of, it bugs me, so I'm just going to work on my makeup palette. This is 3 swipes of the doe foot applicator. I don't think I'm going to use that much, but that's the amount that I have. I'm going to use my damp beauty sponge, and I'm going to dot this around, and then I'm going to blend it in right on top of that Dior Glowy Primer. Okay, so this is blending in really nicely. I still can see a little bit of freckles here, some little freckles that come up from sun exposure there. It does look like it's accentuating some of my pores and texture, and I think it has to do with using a lot of this product from Dior in those areas where I do have texture and pores. I have combination skin, so I'm going to scale back next time on this, maybe using a pore diffusing primer, but the coverage is nice. The blend is really easy and seamless. The shade in that foundation matches up with my shade match in the serum. So it's good to know that their foundations from one to the next, they kind of are pretty close, if not spot on. So if you have a match in one Clinique foundation and you're interested in trying another, it's probably safe to say that your current match is going to work in those newer formulations. Because this foundation says foundation and concealer, I want to see what type of coverage we're getting. I'm going to use an Anissa brush. This is the angled concealer brush, and I'm just tapping this in, and it immediately looks a lot lighter under the eyes, doesn't it? And it's the same foundation. I'm just using a brush. So I think the brush method is going to give you the most coverage. So I'm going to tap this in and go back and forth, and then maybe go with the other side of my sponge and continue to blend that out. But I do feel like I have a lot more coverage with a brush than the sponge, which is good to know. So I'm just going to do this other eye, same way with the brush. Kind of pat it and then go in with the sponge and blend. It looks really pretty under the eyes. I'm going to use my brush to kind of go over this little blemish right in through here and see if I can kind of conceal that a little bit, and maybe use my finger to tap that out a little bit. A little bit of a progress check. I am back with a couple things done off camera. Brows, to save you time and not bore you, I did that off camera. Everything is going to be listed down below. Since I don't have a new brow pen or pencil, I just did mine off camera. And I also did the same for my bronzer, which I used the newest bronzer in my collection, which is the Makeup by Mario one. This one I bought earlier this past spring. This is the Soft Sculpt bronzer in light medium. It's a beautiful formula. Blended that in with my favorite brush, the BK Beauty 111. This is the perfect brush for bronzer. I also did set my under eyes with the Haus Labs powder. This I've had for quite some time in my collection. I've just been using my Huda Beauty Easy Bake, and I thought I'd kind of give that one a break and show some love to this one from Haus Labs. And I use my Sephora Puff to press that over the concealer, and I also did lightly press whatever was left over the rest of my face to set it, because we are in summer months and I want to ensure that my makeup is going to stay on and last for the rest of the day. So I didn't take a bunch of product and press it in. I just used whatever was left and just lightly went over everything to set the face. And then I also did my eyeshadow primer, which is my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This is not new. This is like so nostalgic. Like, let's go back to 2007, 2008, 9, the MAC days. This is where it's at. Of course, this one is not that old. This is just a really good eyeshadow primer. It kind of cancels and neutralizes the discoloration and prevents creasing. For the brows, I have some new products as far as like setting products. This one is the Laura Geller Define and Tame Brow Lifting Stick. I've had this for a while in my collection. I have yet to use it. It's a wax stick. It looks white, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go on clear. And on the opposite end, it has a little brush that looks kind of different, honestly, with the little teeth there. It looks like a little toothbrush. It's like soft, kind of rubbery, silicone-y bristles that you can kind of comb through. I already have product on, so I won't be using that spoolie. And I'm going to use this to set my brows. If this does not work out, I'm going to use the Too Faced Fluff and Hold. This is my second tube of this. This is my favorite high-end brow gel. It holds beautifully. It's the laminating brow wax, and I love the applicator. You have two different styles to choose from for combing your brows and setting them into place. In the back of my drawer, I found this palette from Sigma. This is the Warm Neutrals. This I've had for months. I honestly cannot recall when I bought this. That's just sad, right? I have to use my products. But anyways, this is what the inside looks like. I thought I'd just play around with some of the lighter shades just to do something simple and easy. I don't remember if I've ever used their powder formula for eyeshadows. They have quite a bit of makeup products. They're not just brushes anymore like they were when they first started and I first came across the Sigma brand. I do love their brush cleaning products, their little cleanser, their scrubbing mat. I will link them down below. They're actually really good at cleaning the brushes, keeping them soft, and my brushes always go back to their original shape, and I never have issues with stubborn makeup not coming off. Like, it completely dissolves all the makeup, so I do recommend this brand for brush cleaning products. Now, as far as the eyeshadows, we'll have to see. We're going to play around today and kind of gather some thoughts. So let's go ahead and use this today. To start this look off, I'm going to take the shade called Toasty, which is right in the very center of the palette, and it's a very soft, light, kind of warm tan. It's not really too dark, but it's not super light either, so I think it'll be perfect for a transition shade. And I'm going to use a Morphe A11 blending brush. So this color has quite a bit of pigment. I was not expecting it to be this intense. It's blending really nicely. I'm not having any issues with the blend. It's not skipping, it's not clinging. So far, so good. I will mention that when I put my brush in there was quite a bit of kick up and like a powdery mess. That doesn't really bother me personally, but some people don't like that. So I do want to mention that there is going to be a little bit of fallout and kind of a mess around the eyeshadow pan in this palette. So I think I'm going to take the shade called Passion Fruit, which looks to be like a light, kind of dusty rose shade. It's kind of light, but it's not super pastel, and it is matte. So I'm going to try using some of this just to incorporate some colors in this palette, use as many as I can, and create a look that doesn't look too wild. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on the 212 brush that I was using earlier, and I'm just going to lightly add a little bit of this, ever so slightly, to add a little bit of a pink kind of twist to this look. I'm now switching to another BK Beauty brush. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy collab in the A503 style, which is just a crease brush. And I'm going to use that to help me blend a little bit more. This brush is the best crease brush. Like, the BK Beauty brushes, can't go wrong. Now, Sigma does have some good brushes. I have a few that I pulled from my collection to use. But I do love my BK Beauty brushes. I do think that they are worth an investment. I'm going to move down to the lower lash line, and I'm going to start with that same Toasty shade that I used initially in my crease, which is the one in the center of the palette, with a BK Beauty 210 brush, which is a very small kind of detail brush. And I'm going to add some of this to the lower lashes from outer corner to inner corner. For a little bit more warmth and a little bit more depth and intensity on the lower lashes with that same 210 brush from BK Beauty, I'm going to take the shade called Henna, which is a warm brown. If you wanted more of a reddish tone, this shade here called Rogue is like a reddish terracotta color, also a matte finish. And I'm going to go right over that Toasty shade with the Henna. This Sigma Warm Neutrals palette has 3 different options for shimmers. You have this light one that is a soft kind of icy champagne pink. This one that's a little bit more of a kind of purpley pink shade. And then here, this one adds a little bit of a bronzy kind of coppery vibe to the eyes. I'm going to show you some swatches of those 3 shades. So the lightest one in my middle finger here is Charmer. Then this one that's more of a pinky purple shade is Beaming. And then the bronzy copper shade is called Bittersweet. So you can see those there. Really pretty, and they do feel really soft and buttery. And here is a look at them swatched on the back of my hand. So this is the Charmer, Beaming, Bittersweet. For my lids, I'm going to take the middle shade, which is called Beaming. That's that pinky purpley shade with the ultra fine sparkle to it. And I'm going to use my finger to tap this onto my lids from inner corner to outer corner. That color is so pretty. You can definitely see when you get really close to your mirror the kind of ultra fine sparkle, and it's a more silvery kind of look to it. So it adds a bit of a coolness to it, even though this is called Warm Neutrals. That kind of silver sparkle is really pretty against that kind of pinky, purpley, kind of mauve-y rose shade. I know that's probably not the best description for this color, but it's really pretty. I do like it a lot. And why not use the lightest shade, which is called Charmer, also has a shimmer finish. I'm going to use my finger to kind of dot that and press it right in the center of the lid, just for fun. Why not? So I'm using one finger to apply that bright color, and then the original finger that I use for the darker shade to just kind of pat on the sides and then slightly over it to kind of tone it down just a bit, because it is a little much. When you use your finger with these kinds of shadows, they do look more intense than with a brush. I actually changed my mind. I do want to add something on the outer V of the eye, so I'm going to go to that Henna shade, which is that warm matte brown, and I'm going to use a Sigma Firm Shader E57 brush. So it's a flat eyeshadow brush with a point to it, which helps kind of get into the inner corner if you use it for that purpose, which I really like. But for today's video, I'm going to use this brush to kind of pat just a little bit on this outer V, right in through here. And then I'm going to go back in with that first blending brush and just work that back and forth a little bit to soften that. And that's just going to change it just a little bit, but not a whole lot. But I feel like it was a necessary step just to make this look a little bit more put together. I don't know. I was just in the mood. Just in the mood to play with makeup and just layer some more colors. Last step for the inner corner, I'm going to take that light kind of icy champagne pink shade called Charmer. And I'm going to blend this in with my finger. Just kind of tapping it, blending this out just a little bit, just to brighten the eyes and kind of open things up a little bit. And I'm also going to use a little bit of that shade, just lightly kind of tapping it in the brow bone area. For eyeliner, I pulled a couple new ones in my collection. I have a liquid liner. This is the One Size Point Made in Bodacious Black. I have yet to use this one, and it's a black liquid liner. But then I also have some pencil liners. I bought another one of the Persona 24-hour waterproof pencils in bronze. I had one in my collection previously in the plum shade, and I did enjoy that formula, so I thought I'd try the bronze. But this one actually doesn't go with the eye look today, so I won't be using that. And it's a little bit more of a coppery kind of color, not so much of like a chocolatey bronze. So it's a little bit different than I expected, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be beautiful when I do play around with that. So maybe I'll do that in a different video. And then I also did pick up the Rare Beauty, the Perfect Strokes Longwear Gel Liner in the shade True Brown. Let's do the Rare Beauty and see what that's all about. I like how thin this pencil liner is because it helps with keeping the line pretty thin. I personally don't like to do super thick lines for my eyeliner. On most days, I just do something really close to the root of my lash. So these smaller, kind of more twist up pencils offer a little bit more precision. So that went on a little bit better than I thought. I did have some issues on the outer corner. I don't know if it was the eyeshadow or just the texture of my skin. Maybe this needs to be warmed up a little bit on the back of my hand before going straight into it. But I do like the color. It is a nearly black looking shade, even though it's called, what is it, True Brown, Rich Brown, True Brown. The final thing for the eyes is some mascara, and I'm going to use the MAC Stack Mascara. I've been wanting to try this for a while. I bought a kit off of the Ulta website months ago, and it was this mascara. I think it was a lip product and a Fix Plus spray, and I have yet to use this mascara. I've been using a lot of my other drugstore brands. The applicator looks kind of interesting, the wand I should say. I'm going to show you up close what this looks like in case you haven't seen it. I have high hopes. Let's go ahead and apply this today and see where this takes the lashes. Can I get some thickness, some length, some volume? Can I get everything on my list checked off with this mascara? So right off the bat, when you get really close and you feel the bristles on your waterline, they do feel quite hard and it's kind of uncomfortable a little bit. I don't know if I like that. So here's one coat. I do see quite a bit of length. This is one coat and this is nothing. So there is a very obvious difference. So that looks promising to me. I'm going to go in for some more and do the other side. Let this side hang out for a little bit. Coat number 2. All right, so let's do a little bit of a comparison. Here is 2 coats of the mascara and just 1 coat. I do see a difference. I do think that it definitely lengthened my lashes. Even just doing the comparison between 1 coat and nothing, you can tell. It does start to look a little clumpy. So I'm gonna mention that. I would say do 2 coats and no more than that, because the more I try to comb through, the more they're starting to stick together. And again, it could go back to this being a brand new mascara. So it may be different in a couple days to a week of just kind of hanging out in my drawer. It might be a different story. I am impressed so far. but I'll have to give you my official thoughts after I use this a few more times. I pulled some blushes from my drawer. I have two. One is from Clinique and one is from Rare Beauty. This is a cream blush from Rare Beauty. I have the shade Nearly Neutral. I've had this for such a long time. It would be embarrassing for me to tell you how long this has been sitting in my drawer, and it's never been used. So I think I'm going to save that for a different video because I did do some powder already. So I think I want to stick to powder formulas. The Black Honey Pop is a blush that has that black honey tone. If you've been a fan of Clinique products, you've seen the black honey in lipsticks. You've seen the little kind of almost lipstick, like the thin slimline lipstick bullets. They came out with some new black honey products recently. I think it's like a lip oil. They had a mascara, or I think that may be a newer product as well. They've used this same tone in various different products. Let me show you there up close. It has like a floral design. Isn't that pretty? It's different. I like that kind of clear packaging. You can see right through it, know exactly what you're getting. I've used this formula before in the past, a long time ago, a couple years ago. I don't think I used this shade, and I think it might play nicely with these tones on the eyes. So we're gonna go for it because that's the only new one that I pulled from my drawer. So we're gonna have to make this work. I'm gonna work this color into my brush using the palm of my hand just to make sure that I'm not gonna go overboard. This is the Makeup by Mario F1 brush. And I'm gonna just tap right over my cheeks. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a little bit bold, but we will blend a little bit more here in a minute. But I want you to see what this color looks like in case you've been curious about this or you wanted to see what Black Honey would look like as a blush. And that is really pretty. I'm gonna go over it with my damp beauty sponge and just kind of tone this down just a smidge. But it blended beautifully and it took like hardly any effort at all. So I pulled two different highlighters. One is from Stila, one is from Haus Labs. So the Stila one is the Heaven's Dew All Over Glimmer in Silver Lake. And this one is going to give you that very intense, very luminous, glowy, glittery kind of look to the skin. And I don't know if I'm really in the mood for this one today, but I do want to try this out at some point. The other highlighter is from Haus Labs. This is the Bio Radiant Gel Highlighter in Peach Quartz. I've had this for a while. I think I may have used this once before. I don't remember if I have. I do have a few other shades that I've been using, but this one kind of has that kind of peachy vibe to it. So I think it's going to play well with some of the tones that we've got going on today. So I think I'm going to try the Haus Labs. Oh, this is so pretty. It's really soft. I'm using a fluffy brush to apply it, and it's blending in really beautifully over the Black Honey blush. And I am layering it quite a bit. But I feel like the tone of this kind of blends in really well with my skin tone and the foundation underneath, so you don't really see an obvious stripe of highlighter, which is really pretty. And I'm loving this kind of peachy color. It's so, so pretty. Down the center of the nose, the tip of the nose. Let's do the other side. Moving on to lips for the day. I have two different lip liners. This one is from Buxom. It's the shade called Hush Henna. It's the Power Line. I have gone through one of these entirely a long time ago, so I did buy a backup just to have it. And I love that formula so much. I like the teardrop shape that this liner has, so it makes it very easy to line your lips and also fill them in and use it as a lip liner or your main lip color. But then I also wanted to try this one. This is from Give Beauty. This is the Pout to Gel Real Overlining Lip Pencil. And it's in the shade called Do Whatever. I bought this when the site was on sale for 50% off. It comes with a little tiny brush for blending, which is really nice and very much appreciated. But what's interesting is the actual shape of this lip liner. I've never seen a lip liner quite this way, so let me show you. That is the shape of the lip liner. Do you see how different this looks? I have never seen this before. So when you twist it up, it's kind of like a flat, almost like a strip-like look to it. Very interesting, and this could go very wrong for me if I am not very careful. It's supposed to help you overline your lips. So I'm gonna just kind of twist it up and use the more plastic part of it against my lip because I feel like this side, or maybe I am supposed to do it. I don't know. So let's just try it and see what happens. I can always take it off, but this is in the shade called Do Whatever. I don't know, is that easier or more work? Or is this all gimmick? I don't know. So this is what that do whatever color looks like. I like it. It's a kind of a bit of a more kind of warm tan brown. And I had some difficulties getting a crisp line. And honestly, I was in such a deep concentration that when my neighbor turned on his Corvette, it literally scared me. And I was not prepared. I was just so deep into what I was doing that it just kind of, it scared me. Okay. All right. That's a little bit deeper than I personally go for. I think, honestly, the shape is kind of gimmicky. I don't know if it's necessary to have something so different for overlining. I feel like you can do that with just a regular lip liner. I don't feel like you have to spend the money on that. I'm glad I bought it when it was 50% off. So I'm not mad at it. The color is just a little bit too brown, but I'm going to layer a lipstick over it, so I don't think it's going to matter, really. From my drawer, I pulled out Dusty Rose Satin Lipstick from ABH, and I'm going to go right over the top of that. Ooh, these lipsticks from ABH smell like vanilla. I like the smell of that. So this is what the ABH Satin Lipstick looks like over that Give Beauty lip liner. I like the lipstick tone. It's a nice kind of deeper rose shade that actually looks really pretty when it's paired with this lip liner. I would pair it with a different color personally for me because that lip liner is just a little too brown. And honestly, I do think that the shape of it is a little bit gimmicky. I don't feel like I got a very crisp line, so I did have to bring in my lip brush to help me clean up the edges of my lip line and just kind of sharpen things a little bit more. I kind of want to do a little bit of gloss, and I was thinking, I looked in my drawer and I pulled this one from Fenty. I bought this a while ago. This is the hologram. I think this was like a limited edition for the holidays, and I haven't even used it. Again, sad. I know. I'm realizing a lot of things in this video that I definitely need to put myself on a serious no buy. I don't know how to do a no buy. Like it's not in me, okay? So this looks really pretty, but I don't know if this could be kind of wild with everything, right? What do we think? Or should I do something a little less and just kind of play it safe? I also pulled this from my drawer. This I've used a few times. I think I've only featured this maybe once on camera. This is a gloss embrace from Lisa Eldridge in the shade called Dancing Rose. And I don't know, I just feel like the vibe of this to me would go better with what I've got going on today than this one. This one probably is going to be a little bit more pigmented. I've used Fenty glosses in the past and they do feel really nice, comfortable, hydrating, super glossy, but they do have a little bit of pigment. So I think I'm going to play it safe and go with Lisa Eldridge Dancing Rose because this looks really pretty. And I'm craving a little bit of a glossy finish, not necessarily more color, just a glossy finish, a little bit more hydration to the lips. So let's go in with this one. And I'm going to apply this gloss with a lip brush. Last up is some setting spray. This is the Porefessional Super Setter Long Lasting Setting Spray from Benefit. I'm going to spritz this on, lock this on into place because I did put a lot of effort into today's look. Let's get this mister going. If it's going to even work. Oh my gosh, it doesn't even work. Oh, okay. Ooh, that is ultra fine. Okay. I'm going to pat this in. Go over it with the sponge just to make sure everything is blended and I don't have any little droplets. That little sprayer actually does not taste very good. Whoa, that's gross. Okay. Don't love that for me. This actually has a very thin, very kind of lightweight mist. You do have to kind of prime it first and get that sprayer going because I honestly legit thought it was broken and wasn't going to work, and I thought, great, I just wasted some money. Okay, but it's very fine, ultra fine. You just barely even feel it on the skin, and I feel like everything is really well set, blended, and I'm ready to tackle the rest of my day. And that, my friends, completes today's look. What do you think? I'm actually really happy with how everything turned out. I don't have a negative thing to say about these products. I do want to use them again, and I'm kicking myself because I've had these sitting in my collection for so long, and I've been sitting on some really great gems, and I just need to use my products more often and carve out some time to use the new stuff and not forget about the products that are there. I bought these things and I wanted to try them out, and I'm so glad that I turned the camera on and just filmed it today. Stay tuned. You'll see some of these again in future videos. Let me know what you want to see next. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when new videos get posted. I post every Tuesday and every Friday. We will be doing a drugstore edition to this kind of video of get ready with me new products. So stay tuned for that. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's always on the screen. It's here. I hope to see you there. Take care, you guys, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye-bye.